Hello, welcome back to Traction TV. Today's episode we're going to have a look at some air filter maintenance. For us down here in the southern hemisphere, summer's coming, and so clean air for our motors is all important. This kit we have here is a really good option. What it gives you is a bucket over here. The cleaner fluid, which is here, goes into the bucket. In the bottom of the bucket you have a little mesh that sits down there. What that does is it just allows all the muck from the filter to drain down to the bottom. It sits in the bottom, and so when you submerge your air filter, the air filter is not coming into contact with all the other stuff that's left in the bottom. Because with this system, it's not a use once and throw away. You put the fluid into here. It's got a lid. Make sure the lid's airtight after you've finished using it, and that you can reuse and reuse. Eventually you get to the point where you find the cleaning fluid is just a little bit too oily and you're not really getting the result. That's when you know it's time to change, and you can buy that on its own. So how you work it, fill that into here, you grab your dirty filter, submerge it in the fluid, make sure that the sponge is saturated with the fluid. Don't ever wring the filter because it does damage the sponge. Just work it through. Get as much of the loose sand out as you can. Once you've got to the point where you feel that you've done a good enough job with this, if there is still some residual sand or dirt in the filter, that's not a problem. This fluid is washable in water. We normally put a little bit of a dishwashing liquid in it as well, not a soapy mixture, just a light one. Wash that out again, you'll notice even more sand will come out of that. If you have had to wash it with water, then you will need to let the filter dry so that all the water's dissipated. Once you've done that, you go to your next bucket, which will hold the air filter oil. That sits in there. Again, a little bucket comes with a lid, so when you're finished with it, make sure it's airtight, because the way these oils work is that they tack up with air contact. So obviously the solvent evaporates. If you leave the lid off and come back a couple of days or a week later, you'll find your oils just turn to goo and it's no good. So submerge the air filter into there, make sure that it's covered with oil. It'll obviously be dripping with oil. You get it out, you squeeze it. Don't wring the filter again because you do damage the foam and you might even rip some of the joins. So it needs to be a nice consistency of oil through the filter, and essentially when you squeeze it, you want the oil to be visible but not running out. Leave it for a few minutes because it does have a lot of solvent in it. The oil will tack up, and then you put it back onto your air filter cage in your bike and away you go. They do also give you in the kit a little tub of grease. What the grease is for is if you want to, depending on the conditions on how dry and dusty it is, you can put some grease on the rim of the foam, and that'll just make sure you've got a really good seal when the cage goes back into the bike. People often ask us, I can just use petrol, I don't need all this. Petrol is a very aggressive solvent. It attacks the glue in the filters, and it does deteriorate the foam. And these things are key. This is what filters the air and keeps the dust out of your motor. Especially on a 4-stroke, you blow your motor, you've got a big bill. So for the sake of what this kit costs you and the bit of time involved, keep your filters clean, do it after every ride, especially in summer, and oil them up, put them back, and you're away, you're good to go. That's about it for today. So yep, summer's coming, keep your filters clean. This system will help you. Any questions, give us a call, or else you can view this stuff on our website at www.traction.co.nz. Like us on our Facebook page and we'll keep you updated there, or else subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos.